Hello everyone, and welcome back to your haunted neighborhood, where the streets breathe, the shadows watch, and the past never stays dead. I'm your host, Jody Bohr. Each week, I share true stories of haunted places, cursed objects, and chilling encounters sent in by haunted neighbors like you. So come closer. You're already one of us. One of our haunted neighbors has a story that just couldn't stay buried, that has found its way to us and is dying to be told. So let's open the door, shall we? Step inside your haunted neighborhood. A skeptic moves into a quiet attic apartment only to discover that disbelief doesn't protect you from what's already there. What began with shadows and strange dreams turned into a haunting that refused to be ignored. This story isn't just about a haunted attic. It's about what happens when disbelief is no longer an option. This story is called The Spirit in Our Rotterdam Apartment. In 2010, my girlfriend and I moved into a rental apartment in Rotterdam. At the time, I was a hardcore skeptic. Ghosts, spirits, the paranormal? Nonsense. Or so I thought. The apartment had a strange attic filled with forgotten belongings left by previous tenants. We put the washing machine up there and used the nearby room as our bedroom. Another attic room we used for ironing. From the moment we moved in, my girlfriend said she felt something dark in the house. At night, she'd wake up and see a shadowy male figure standing at the foot of our bed. I shrugged it off. Probably just dreams, I told her. Then things escalated. A friend of hers visited one day. She had no idea what my girlfriend had been experiencing. But out of nowhere, she said, "There's a man in this house. Something dark." That's when I started paying attention. One afternoon, my girlfriend was napping on the couch. Suddenly, she got up and began walking toward the attic. I followed, calling her name. She didn't respond. Her eyes were open, but it was like she was sleepwalking. Then she suddenly came to and looked horrified. She told me she'd been dreaming of the same house, but back in the 1960s or 70s. In the dream, there were broken wine glasses on the floor, spilled drinks, and a woman screaming. She heard two angry male voices upstairs and felt someone was being attacked. She was about to go find out when I woke her. It was chilling for both of us. For a while, the weirdness stayed mostly with her, but everything changed when we began preparing to move out. One evening, I was lying in bed in the attic bedroom. I heard someone walking up the stairs. The light in the hall switched on. I assumed it was my girlfriend coming to say hi. I waited, but no one came. The sound stopped. Curious, I got up and opened the door. No one was there. I went downstairs. My girlfriend was sitting calmly in the living room. "Why didn't you come say hi?" I asked. She looked confused. "I didn't go upstairs. I thought you did." That moment hit me like a punch. I felt my entire body go cold. For the first time, I was truly afraid. She was so unsettled, she left to sleep at her mother's. I stayed. I refused to be chased out of my own place. That night, around 1 a.m., I was jolted awake by a knock. Not just any knock. It came from inside the wall, right next to my head. I'd lived there nearly 3 years. I knew every sound that house made. This was new and terrifying. I froze. I wanted to get up, but I couldn't move. I just pulled the blanket over my head and lay there. It wasn't that I was physically paralyzed. I could still pull the bedsheet over my head, but I was frozen with fear. It felt like my brain short-circuited, like, this can't be real. This is insane. The knocking was so deliberate, like someone was trying to wake me up, which it obviously did, annoyingly, the way a person might poke you just to get your attention. I laid there, questioning everything I believed. What does this thing want from me? How is this even possible? It makes no sense, and yet it happened. From that night on, it only got worse. We began losing things, keys, personal items, only to have them reappear days later in plain sight. It was maddening. The presence wasn't just there anymore. It was interacting with us. We reached out to a psychic for help. By then, we were already sleeping elsewhere. She told us to return to the house and with calm and kindness, guide the spirit toward the light. No fear, no hate, she said. Just tell it you can't help and it needs to move on. We did as she instructed. That night, sitting in the attic, we gently spoke our words. And then 3 thunderous bangs slammed into the attic door. It was violent, aggressive, terrifying. We bolted from the house. I swear something followed us in the car for a short while. When we told the psychic, she simply said, "It's not going anywhere. Don't return at night." Soon after, we moved out. And from the moment we stopped sleeping there, the activity stopped. Sadly enough, I cannot ask the psychic anymore regarding this particular spirit, since she passed away during COVID. I still don't know exactly what was going on, other than somebody got harassed, or even worse in that house. And I also believe other spirits can get attached to certain environments. It's the kind of experience that forces you to reconsider everything you thought you knew. What really grounded me was that my girlfriend, now my wife, we're married and have 2 young children, witnessed this stuff too. That validation made a huge difference. And one thing is absolutely certain. I will never scare my kids with these stories, but I will teach them that the spirit world is real and it's not something to play with, ever. I went in a skeptic. I left, knowing that something else exists. Something real, something powerful, and it doesn't care whether you believe in it or not. That, dear listener, was another tale from Your Haunted Neighborhood, where secrets lurked behind every mailbox, screams nestled in the attic's cobweb corners, and the street lamp flickered with just enough dying light to guide us to the end. Let's talk about what haunted me and what kept knocking even after they left. It's always the knocking, isn't it? The one sound that turns sleep into fear and a home into a haunting. What struck me first is how the haunting built itself around disbelief. This wasn't a story where someone wanted to believe. It was the opposite. They went in with logic and skepticism and came out knowing too much to stay comfortable. The sleepwalking dream, that moment where the girlfriend walks upstairs mid-nap, reliving the 1970s house party turned nightmare, it didn't just feel paranormal, it felt residual, like trauma echoing through the walls, waiting for someone almost sensitive enough to listen, to experience it. And when the knocks came, when the spirit started responding, not just existing, but reacting, it changed everything. The haunting escalated into something almost personal. The psychic's advice was beautiful in theory. No fear, no hate, just kindness. But the spirit didn't seem to want peace. It wanted presence, attention, maybe even fear. What really stayed with me, though, was the closing sentiment. This isn't a story used to scare the kids. It's a reminder that the spirit world doesn't play by our rules, and it doesn't disappear just because you choose not to see it. And I think that's what haunts me most, that no matter how logical you are, how grounded in science, how firm in your beliefs, sometimes the house knocks back and you can't do anything about it. And that brings us to the end of Season 1 here in Your Haunted Neighborhood. 13 episodes, 13 doors open, and maybe a few that should have stayed shut. Whether you're a skeptic, a believer, or somewhere in between, thank you for walking these haunted streets with me, listening to the knocks in the dark, and wondering, what if it's real? I hope these stories made you shiver, made you think, and maybe made you feel a little less alone when the night creaked too loudly. I'll be back soon on Season 2 with new tales, new hauntings, and more shadows that don't quite stay where they belong. Until then, stay close to the street light and watch where the sidewalk leads. The neighborhood never really sleeps. I'm your host, Jody War. If you'd like to submit your stories, send them to YourHauntedNeighborhood@gmail.com, and you can hear your story featured on Your Haunted Neighborhood podcast. See you on Season 2. Until next time, see you around the neighborhood.